Hello, this is the fourth demo in the series of Variatec BX production, and I want to show you some schedule possibilities in the system. Now, what we did before in the previous demos was creating a bill of material with resources in it, with material in it, with work centers, with everything you need to do your planning. Second step was the calculation with the big flexibility. Third step was MRP, and in the MRP we created a couple of production orders and purchase orders where the system said we would need it based on the sales order we showed. Now if we go to production, we have a production management cockpit where you can see what's happening in your production system. Now I want to see everything, so both planned and released production orders, and I just want to have everything in there. What I see here is that I have two production orders for my red and green bikes. I need 2 times the frameworks, the roll bikes, etc. The color here, blue, means that it's planned, and I also have the production order numbers. So this is how my management cockpit works. You can see the quantities, and this is very powerful in the Variatec BX software. It's the allocation strategy. You can define that up front. What is your standard strategy? And we have 3 of them. Back from due date is what we use most, and that means that I know my due date, so I know when I want to have my finished product, and from there I'm going backwards in time to do my planning. If this fits, the system plans all the operations you need for the production orders, and you can start working. If you have a problem, so if the system says, well, it doesn't fit, you can do a couple of things. First of all, what we saw in the operations and the work centers is that you can change your capacity, because if you need it and you say, I cannot change anything in my schedule, you might need some extra capacity, so maybe 2 shifts or extra people, or maybe you could do some outsourcing. It's depending on how important it is that you get to that end date. Now, if this end date is not that important, you can also say, well, then just have a look at when can you start and just plan from there in the future. Now, this can of course always be done. So this is always a planning strategy which works. The only thing which can happen, if you need a certain product for a customer on a certain delivery date, you can get in trouble there. So either way, you have to plan that one back from due date, or you have to change the delivery date in your system. That's what you can do. And you can say, I have a preferred date, and from there I plan forward, and then the end result is the same as from the earliest date, only here you can define from what date you can plan. So here you can define how do you want the system to do the planning and how to work with it. Now, another thing you can do here is that you have the possibilities to use these checkbox and select a couple of orders where you can say, okay, I want a couple of orders combined, or I want a couple of sales orders combined, or I want specific products combined. And with that you can make a real nice planning overview and say, okay, this is most important, so I first do that planning, then the other, and then the rest of the planning. And if then the capacity is not big enough, okay, I can change my strategy because those orders are not that important. So you can use that on different ways. And very important, what you can do is you can say, I select those elements, and from there I can start doing my planning. So this can also be done if you say, I have a couple of orders finished and I want to close them in a group. You can just use this for your convenience. So what I can do now is go to change selected. Then the system says, okay, what do you want to change? Now I can use this one. So I say I want to release all the orders, which means that we can really start producing. Or you can say, well, I want to change my strategy in a couple of them because it doesn't fit, and there are a couple who can be start planning from the earliest day or something like that. So very easy to work with and a very handy tool to handle more production orders. So in this case, what I could do is I could say, okay, do an update, and then I recalculate and reload, and now the system makes the MRP run again, but then everything in time. This red means not that it's not good, it's just the color of everything which is released. So we saw that if a production order is planned, it's blue, if it's released, it's red, which means it's working. And what you can see now is that you have begin and end dates with the flexibility you have, so latest and first, you have due dates and due times. Every detail you need is here. And now the system did plan those orders based on minutes. So you have a real minute planning. Now another thing I need, because if I have this planned, I can have some overviews. If I need some material, I can have some overviews of what I really need to do. So print production documents and things like that. But the other thing I want to do is I also created the the purchase order for my production. So in the same MRP run, which the system says here. And what I want to do is copy this one to a good receival, so that I know that all the material I need for my production orders are coming in from this goods receival. So we just copy it, and it's straightforward. Now everything is in, so I'm fine. And what I can do is, if I go back to my production reports, I can do a print of my job requirements, or I can use a copy. I just say I want everything, print it, and now this is done based on the different jobs we have to do. We can also do that based on the materials we need, and you can also make a combination of those reports, because what you see is that in this case, based on the different jobs, so start date and start time, and you can see exactly the materials you need, and you can see here also the operation details. So this can be used. This is your working list. You can give that into your shop to the people who have to do the working, and in the end, if they have a scanner, for instance, they can scan their own badge and say, okay, beep, this is what I did on my job, and this is the material I got from my warehouse. So this type of reports is very convenient, and in basis this could be the starting point of your complete operation, that the people are really going to work with this. Now we have a lot of different reports which support the whole manufacturing process. I mentioned what we saw were the job requirements. We can also have a starting point material requirements, and we have complete overviews of what we are doing. Now, one of the important things we can do here is, first we can, if something is not okay, you could see a warning. Here we don't have any, and then you can have a missing capacity report. Or what you can do is go directly from here to your job scheduling report. We can there say, okay, what do we want to see, planned orders as well, or only released? And we have from today to an end date. You can change that, and if I say okay, I will switch off my tools and employees, and here I have my overview based on my work centers. And this is what the system shows you, the work centers per day. And when I go to the right, you can see that here I start my first order. And if I go a little further to the right, you see here an order, and you see there an order. So here you see exactly everything you want to do. Now, what possibilities do you have? For instance, if you say, I have this order, this is my green bike, I need 12 of them. It's my bicycle assembly, and the system said, based on my strategy, I'm just planning from my due date backwards, and this is the end result. Now, what I could do if I say I want to have a manual influence on the planning, what I could do is click on my order here, so on my operation. Then the system loads two forms. First of all, it opens my operation details, and there I can do something extra, and that is this. The system can say, okay, this operation I selected, I can pin that one, and I can pin that on a specific date. Now I could say I want to start with this one, whatever, October 19, and on a specific time. But here you can manipulate your automated planning into manual planning, because you can say, since this assembly is pinned, I do plan the rest of the operations of this production order around this date. I can update it. I can update my production order, because that one was opened as well. And you see that the system is running a new complete MRP allocation for this production order. Now I get no warnings. If there would be anything wrong, I would have a warning or a message over here, and I could zoom in where my problems would be. I have it here on the 26th, and if I refresh it, you can see that I changed it from the 26th to the 20th, and here you see that it's pinned. This is a very powerful possibility to use manual planning in the completely automated planning system. Here you can really manually plan a couple of operations which are really key, which are very important. Just pin them, replan them, and the system shows you if there are any problems or if you have to change anything. This is, you could say it, the motor for Variatech planning. So the extra MRP2 planning, minute-based, based on different strategies. You can you have a couple of tools to make everything work. You can do a replanning. You can take care of more capacity, or, and that's what we can see in another demo, we can do extra outsourcing. So we could say, okay, the 15 bikes I cannot make, but if the system gives an error back, it says how many you can make yourself. So if you could make 10 yourself, you could make the decision, okay, that's so, then I take 5 of my production order and put those on outsourced, and 10 I will manufacture myself. So you're very flexible in your rescheduling possibilities. So this is how the system plans and how you can manually influence that and do some specific planning with pinning. So quite powerful, and this was it for my planning. Thank you.